is the Talking Sports podcast with Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco Trumpbour, and this is our NFL mock draft video right here on YouTube.
And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're really trying to post a lot of stuff on Twitter, like polls. We've been doing a lot of polls recently, so definitely give us that follow and start doing the polls with us.
Yeah, guys, all of that will be in the description, also in our link tree if you guys haven't checked that out yet. But Instagram and Twitter, like Jared just said, Twitter polls are a lot of fun. We get a ton of votes and kind of gives you guys kind of an avenue to express what you're thinking and kind of gives you your opinion on certain topics. Also, message us if you want a certain poll, and we'll definitely try. But yeah, follow Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A lot of big things coming, especially when we get out of school and the summer starts kicking off. We're going to be posting a lot more on YouTube. So, guys, please check that out. Guys, we know what time it is. It's NFL mock draft season. NFL draft is coming up in about a couple weeks. This video you'll see about a week before. So, guys, who isn't excited for the mock draft videos and who isn't excited for the NFL draft? It's 7 rounds of just awesome football, starting from Thursday all the way to Saturday. This video, Jared and I will be giving you our full NFL first-round mock draft. Not 7 rounds, just one. 7 rounds will be here for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't think you guys want to really watch that. So 7, we're gonna do 1 through 32, and Jared, each will be telling you guys why we think this player will be going to this team. So guys, enjoy the video. Make sure you watch the whole thing to see where your team will be picking. Jared, kicking it off with the Jacksonville Jaguars at the number 1 pick. Who do you got them taking?
I think it's no surprise. I think every sports fan knows, and pretty much Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1. He's like a generational QB talent. I feel like it was consensus number 1 pick is going to pick Trevor Lawrence. Jets were trying to fight with the Jaguars to get the fight for Trevor Lawrence, but Jaguars got the first pick, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. It's kind of self-explanatory.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. Not going to do anything crazy here. Trevor Lawrence to the Jaguars. We've talked about Trevor Lawrence going number 1 the whole season. We didn't, like Jared just said, we didn't know who was going to be. If it was going to be the Jaguars, Jets, the Bengals were in a mix a little while. Depending on who was going to pick number 1, Trevor Lawrence was going to be that pick. And I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence, who is compared to John Elway, Andrew Luck type of prospect, Peyton Manning type of quarterback prospect. Jaguars are not going to mess this up. I think Jared we were going to agree on at least 1 pick, and that's going to be Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence, we both agree, is going number 1. Jared, number 2, New York Jets. Your New York Jets, they're in a position for a quarterback. What quarterback are they taking? Are they taking Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones? Who do you got them going at number 2?
There's a lot of rumors, and I thoroughly believe that the Jets are probably going to take Zach Wilson, BYU quarterback. He's got a good frame. He had a really good season last year. I do want to name off some stats in their career at BYU. And Pete, you're going to have to try to guess which one's Zach Wilson, which one's another BYU alumni. You probably know. So first is this quarterback had a passer rating of 162.9, 56 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and 7,652 yards in his career at BYU in 30 games. QB2's has a passer rating of 149.8, 56 touchdowns, 33 interceptions, and 7,733 yards in 34 games. So which one do you think is Zach Wilson? Which one do you think's famous alumni at BYU?
Both guys
I will say after.
Both guys have similar passer ratings. 162 is obviously better than 149. Not a huge difference. Similar in the yards.
Mm-hmm, similar, yeah.
One thing that kind of like makes you stand different is the interceptions.
Exactly, yeah.
Player A, and I'm assuming I know who player A is for the point of this question, and I'm going to know who player B is. I'm going to go player A.
Player A is Zach Wilson, and player B is Steve Young, Hall of Fame QB from BYU. So I'm not comparing him to Steve Young. I'm just saying it's pretty cool that Zach Wilson actually had a good career, substantial to Steve Young at BYU. But yeah, I think Zach Wilson's the guy. I just wanted to say that stat because I know I'm excited to possibly draft Zach Wilson as a Jet fan.
As a Jets fan, as you being a Jets fan, I'm assuming if you're anything close to Steve Young, I think you'll be running circles around.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to agree with JR. I'm going to take Zach Wilson. And this is – and sorry. Before we keep going. I forgot to tell you guys. This mock draft is based off what we think is going to happen, not what we would do if we were each team's GM. Once again, what we think will be happening from 1 to 32. So what we've read, what we hear, what people are telling us, and then not what we would do, because what we would do would be, I'm not saying different, but it would be different on each pick is what teams need. So kind of what we think is going to happen. I think Zach Wilson's going to go to the Jets. You know, JR, I'm a Justin Fields guy. I like Justin Fields better than Zach Wilson, not by a lot. I understand if somebody takes Justin Fields over Zach Wilson, and I understand if somebody takes Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. I'm not like, there's not a huge difference for me. I would prefer we go Justin Fields, but I'm not going to bash the Jets taking Zach Wilson. I think that's a great pick. So I'm not like Zach Wilson stinks. Justin Fields great. I think they're both on the same level. I think they're, in my opinion, in the draft, they're 2A and 2B when it comes to quarterbacks. That's my opinion. So I'm obviously after Trevor Lawrence. So I'm taking Zach Wilson. I think he's going to be a future for the Jets. Hopefully the Jets don't mess it up. And we've learned a quarterback can be as good as you think. You got to build around him. You got to have the right coaching staff. You got to have the offensive coordinator. This quarterback could be super talented, but it doesn't matter what's not around him. Josh Allen is not Josh Allen without Stephon Diggs, Sean McDermott, and Brian Dable. And Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes without Andy Reid. It's just simple. Everybody has talent. Sam Darnold had talent. We all know that.
He still does, too.
He still does. He has talent. The problem is the Jets had Adam Gase and a bunch of no weapons around him and no running game and no O-line. So that's what's going to happen. If the Jets do what they're supposed to do and build around Zach Wilson will be a quarterback for 12 years. But if they do exactly what happened with Sam Darnold, we're going to be in the same situation in 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Trevor Lawrence, there's only a couple quarterbacks that can kind of overtake that. There's not a lot. Like
there's not.
Everything has. Like I feel like the Jaguars don't build around Trevor Lawrence. You might see it that he's really good, but they're not going to win games. So I'm going to go Zach Wilson at number 2 to the New York Jets. So I think the first 2 picks are kind of obvious at this point of the draft. I think the draft starts at 3. So, JR, who's going number 3 to the San Francisco 49ers?
Well, you were just talking about him. I have the 49ers selecting Justin Fields. And like you said, they are Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, pretty close in comparison. I personally, it's maybe because I'm a Jet fan, but I have Zach Wilson a little higher. Just probably I've been doing more research on him. I like that. I think he's more pro ready in the NFL. But no, I have Justin Fields going number 3, and 3 quarterbacks in a row. Like we don't really see that much in a draft, and I think there's gonna be a solid amount of quarterbacks going in the first round. But I got Justin Fields at 3 to the 49ers. I'm not sure if he's going to start right away, because 49ers did say Jimmy G's their guy this season, but then they did trade up to the 3 spot. So I think they are selecting a QB at 3 because of that trade up. But yeah, I got Justin Fields going 3.
Sure, I like the pick, and I agree with you. I think I would bet my life that they're taking a quarterback at 3. There's no need to trade up from I think they were at 12. I want to say so, or they were in the teens to go all the way up to take a wide receiver or a defensive player. And this draft doesn't have a generational defensive talent. So I do think the 49ers will be selecting a quarterback. If I hear Mac Jones at number 3 anymore, I'm going to lose my mind. I do not think that's a good pick. You don't trade up that far to get Mac Jones. I agree with you, Jared. Justin Fields is a quarterback. I think if he sits about 6-7 games with Jimmy G, or even a full year, I think he's going to do wonders. And I do think out of all these quarterbacks that I have getting drafted, Justin Fields will be going to the best system. Which
I agree.
Of Kyle
and
Shanahan.
I think they're also selecting this. Let's say Jimmy G, he really doesn't have he usually never has a healthy season.
Oh, yeah.
Gets hurt. Justin Fields hops in. Maybe he starts taking the role, So that's what they're also thinking too. Yeah.
I think Jimmy G starts the year, but I do think Jimmy G's on a short leash. I do think.
I agree.
Done. He stinks. He's done. Because this 49ers team is a good defensive team. Kyle Shanahan wants to win. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So they're going to get their guy. Their guy's going to be Justin Fields. He's a dynamic playmaker. He can do so much with his legs and with the ball, more than that Mac Jones can do. And I think Justin Fields going number 3, and him going number 3 will be awesome for him. I think that's a perfect position for him. I do agree with you. I do think that Zach Wilson's more pro-ready, and he can start day 1. I don't think Justin Fields can start day 1. But I'm going to take Justin Fields at number 3 along with you. We agreed on the first 3 picks. I feel like it's going to get a little wonky.
Yeah.
After
I feel like this is where it starts. This pick's going to start.
This is where it gets
domino
weird.
effect. Yeah.
Great. JR, number 4, Atlanta Falcons. What do you got them doing?
Yeah, so this is a hard pick. They could very well pick a quarterback, but I think this is too high of a reach for one of the other quarterbacks right now. And I think Matt Ryan, they're still not going to let go of Matt Ryan yet. They don't need a wide receiver because they got Calvin Ridley, they got Julio Jones. I don't see a point of picking another wide receiver, but I still see them sticking to the offense. And I have them picking Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. Um, he's very talented. He's player ranked 4 on I forget what website I was using, Fantasy Pro Pro Football Network rankings. So those are all where all my rankings are coming from. But he's the 4th best prospect out there. I think they don't really have a solid tight end. It could set up more things on offense. But yeah, I'm gonna have them picking Kyle Pitts, and they're going to add to that really good offensive receiving core.
I guess you read my mock draft before today's. I'm going Kyle Pitts. I do think if this was a better defensive draft, like a
They
top
would,
more
yeah,
top,
I agree.
they would go defense. So I do think the Falcons guys, if you're looking for a trade back candidate early in the draft, that's gonna be Atlanta. I do think if they don't want to take Kyle Pitts, they trade back to like a 10 or 11 and take like a Patrick Surtain, a Michael Parsons, a Jace Horn type of guy as they move back in the draft and get more draft capital. I think that would actually be the ideal scenario for the Falcons. But I have him staying put, taking tight end Kyle Pitts. But don't label him as a tight end. This dude,
Yeah,
a
very
freak
true.
of nature. He can play wide receiver. He can play tight end. He can do whatever you want. I think he's the best pass catcher in this class. And I do think Matt Ryan still has a couple years left. You build around Matt Ryan. You got Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and Kyle Pitts. Who the heck is going to guard those 3 guys? You got 2
Yeah.
wide
But we
receivers.
say that every year, and the Falcons find a way to just not do that well, you know?
True. That's why I do think they can make defense because they need players on defense. I do think
But
they.
I think it's too much of a reach to pick a defender at 4, you know?
No, I
You know,
agree.
in
That's
this
why if
draft.
somebody would trade
Yeah.
back, it would be Atlanta. But for this draft, even though we could do trades in this draft, I know Jared has 1 trade. I didn't do any trades. I do have the Atlanta Falcons taking Kyle Pitts, the number 1 pass catcher on the board, getting another weapon for Matt Ryan, and I think that'd be a great pick at number 4. JR, number 5, Cincinnati Bengals. Who do you got them taking?
So it would be cool to see him pick Jamar Chase, pair it back with Joe Burrows. However, Bengals, their offensive line's been struggling. I know they got the guy from Alabama 2 years ago, but I have him picking Penei Sewell, offensive lineman from Oregon, 6'6", 330. It's the best offensive lineman in the draft. I have him going top 5. He's the 3rd player ranked 3rd in this draft class. And they just got to, after that injury to Joe Burrow, they really got to protect him. And I have him going offensive line here.
I agree. Yeah, I'm going to take Penei Sewell. I think that's how you say his name. At 5.
Something like that.
Bengals. Yeah, I do think he's the best offensive lineman, especially offensive tackle in this class. And we saw what happened with Joe Burrow this year. He got injured. Cannot have that happen again. Like you can't
Agreed.
getting injured because he got hit. That should not happen. I agree with you. You could take Jamar Chase and put his receiver from college. I think that would be cool, but that's not a need. You have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. You always can get another receiver in the 2nd and 3rd round. Like you have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are good receivers. If you want to see we need another receiver, get a guy in the 2nd round, Elijah Moore, Rondo Moore, somebody like that in the 2nd round. I think that would be fit way more for the Bengals. Get Penei Sewell, the best tackle in this class. Get Joe Burrow some protection and make sure he doesn't get injured again. So I got the Bengals along with JR taking Penei Sewell at 5. JR, number 6, Miami Dolphins. What do you got them going?
We mentioned pairing Jamar Chase up with Joe Burrow. And I actually have the Dolphins selecting Devontae Smith, not Jamar Chase, from Alabama. He won the Heisman last year. Pairing him up back with Tua, I think they might use that because we saw Tua was, I don't know, struggling a little bit in his rookie year. But, I mean, that's just shaking off the rust in the NFL. But you give him like a speedster, and I feel like he likes to throw it deep with Devontae Smith. I know a lot of people, Jamar Chase probably better than Devontae Smith here, but I just think the pairing fits well. And I think Devontae Smith will be the first receiver after we're going to the Dolphins at 6.
I like the pick with the wide receiver, but I'm going to disagree with you for the first time in this draft, which makes it way more interesting. First time mock draft, we're going to disagree. We agreed on the first 5 picks. I am gonna take a receiver, not Devontae Smith, not Jalen Waddle. I'm gonna go Jamar Chase. I think he's the best wide receiver in the class. I think the second best pass catcher behind Kyle Pitts. I do like the Devontae Smith thing, and I do think that's a scenario you can watch because he was this wide receiver. Two was with him at Alabama. But I do think Jamar Chase is too much to pass up. I think Jamar Chase has a bigger build, bigger arms, just a bigger wide receiver. Devontae Smith more on the slight side. I love Devontae Smith. I do think he's going to go in the top 10. I'll let you know where in a couple minutes, but I like Jamar Chase going number 6. And I think Tua needs another receiver. They have Devontae Parker. They signed Will Ford to a 1-year deal, but we know with Will Ford, that's a complete hit or miss with him with the drug problem or steroids problem, whatever the heck he did, plus his injury history. I think they get a surefire in Jamar Chase, and I like Jamar Chase going number 6 to the Miami Dolphins. JR, number 7, Detroit Lions. New coach, kind of struggled the last probably 5-7 years. No more Matt
Yeah.
Stafford. They got Jared Goff as the quarterback. What do they do at number 7?
And number 7, I'm going to stick with the wide receiver trend and pick Jamar Chase, who is probably number 1 receiver off the board. I know I didn't make him drafted first, but Lions just lost Kenny Galladay. They just got Jared Goff. They have T.J. Hawkinson, and they don't have good receivers that much anymore. I see them picking Jamar Chase. You got to give Goff someone he could throw the ball to, because we've seen that Goff needs help on the offensive side. And so, yeah, I'm going to pick Jamar Chase. He's at 7. I feel like he's too much to pass up at that point. So I'm going Jamar Chase.
I like the pick, and I do think the Lions need a wide receiver. You lose Marvin Jones, like you said, and Kenny Galladay. You got to give Jared Goff at least a chance. You got to give him somebody to throw.
Yeah, exactly.
Hawkinson, who's one of the best young tight ends, but you need an outside weapon. Like the receiver pick. Not going Jamar Chase, obviously. I just took Jamar Chase to 6 to the Dolphins, taking Devontae Smith. One behind where you went. I think he's the second best receiver in this class. I agree with you. I think he's too much to pass up on at 7. Like you said, he was too much to pass up on at 6. So I like Devontae Smith at 7 over Jalen Waddle. I think Devontae Smith's going to be a great wide receiver, Heisman winner, broke so many Alabama records, but so many college football records. They're going to get a surefire in Devontae Smith. They could go defense. I could see defense, but they're not going to. They also could go quarterback in Trey Lance or Mac Jones. They want to, if they don't want to deal with Jared Goff, but I do think they sit with Jared Goff for a year, see what he has, give him a weapon. I got Devontae Smith, number 7, to the Detroit Lions. JR, moving on, number 8, Carolina Panthers just got Sam Darnold as quarterback. They also have Teddy Bridgewater. What are they doing at number 8?
Yeah, so like you said, Panthers just traded for Sam Darnold. So they will not be drafting a QB. I definitely think they won't. And I actually have a team trade. This is my only trade up at the draft. I got the Patriots trading up to the Panthers pick, and Panthers will be moving down and getting some more capital. And the Patriots are trading up to get Mac Jones, Alabama QB. I'm not a huge Mac Jones guy. I just could see him fitting in this Patriots. Patriots signed Cam for another year, but I don't believe that's their long-term option. I think they'll maybe pick Mac Jones, maybe sit behind Cam if Cam gets hurt, steps in, or maybe, like you said with the Justin Fields, halfway through the season they start Mac Jones. I just think this is the best QB fit for the Patriots. And I usually Patriots don't trade up, so this might not happen, but I feel like Mac Jones somehow going to be drafted by the Patriots. So
I like the pick. So, guys, if you're taking notes at home, Patriots have the 8th pick in JR's draft, and now the Panthers have 15. So when we get to 15, JR will be picking for the Panthers. I'll be picking for the Patriots, but he has Mac Jones going number 8. I do not have any trades in this mock draft, like I said earlier. So I got Panthers staying at 8. I do like what they did with Sam Darnold. I do think they're going to protect him. And I am taking Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle, Northwestern. I think he's the best tackle in this draft. And I do think they need to protect Sam Darnold. You have weapons in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. You have a running back in Christian McCaffrey. You could go defense. I don't think they will. I think that you're like, you know what? Let's give Sam Darnold a chance. It's going to be Sam Darnold. I keep saying Teddy Bridgewater, but it's going to be Sam Darnold. There's no point in Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
You're not going to play. They saw what Teddy Bridgewater was. If Penny Sewell fell to 8, they would take him. But obviously, you went 5. I got Rashawn Slater going number 8, the second best tackle. Sat out last year because of COVID from Northwestern. So I got him going number 8 to the Carolina Panthers. JR, Number 9, Denver Broncos. What do you got them doing?
This was hard for me because I'm not sure if they're going to go up on their QB right now. His name's blanking me. But I think they will pick a QB, and they're going to go Trey Lance. I feel like Broncos like that big arm, and they like it's Drew Lock. I just remembered it. So I think this might be another situation. Drew Lock starts this year, and then have Trey Lance sit behind him. I think people are hyping up Trey Lance too much. And I believe they're trying to make him like, oh, he's like a Patty Mahomes type of quarterback. He could have that ceiling, which he could, but I don't know, it could flop. But I think because teams like him a lot, Broncos might pick Trey Lance here at 9. Yeah, so I got them picking Trey Lance.
Guys, this is why Jared has such great friends and such great partners on this podcast. I got Trey Lance going to Denver. I do think they've seen enough of the Drew Lock, and I feel like they're kind of tired of just revolving to our quarterbacks. Take Trey Lance at 9, a big development quarterback. You got to build around him. You can't just throw him in there. Don't do that because you'll be back here in 3 years, even 2 years, doing the same damn thing again. So go build around him. They got weapons in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. But they're going to have to build a defense, get some protection, make sure Vic Fangio actually learns how to coach football games. That would be also really helpful. But I like Trey Lance. I think he's a big prospect at enough to go to state. High potential, high risk, high reward. That's what this pick is. You're risking it for the biscuit. If he hits his potential, he's going to be incredible. But he could fizzle out really fast if you don't build around him. I got Trey Lance going number 9. JR, as we're moving kind of out of the top 10, final pick in the top 10, Dallas Cowboys. What do you got them going at number 10?
I got them going with my favorite defensive prospect in this draft, and he goes by the name Patrick Surtain, second cornerback from Alabama. The 6'2", 200-pound frame is like my ideal frame for like a quarterback around 6'3". He's ranked number 6 prospect, and this guy could lock up. He's a really good man-to-man. He's my favorite defensive player in this draft. I wish he could fall to 23 with the Jets. That's just not going to happen. But yeah, Cowboys cornerbacks, their defense is lacking. Definitely probably going to pick defense here. And I think Surtain, get that cornerback, number 1 cornerback that could lock down part of the field. I think this is the pick they're going to go.
I'm going to agree with you, my man. I like Patrick Surtain at number 10. I think he's the best corner in this class. I agree with you. Let's start guarding people on the outside if you're Dallas. You got the offense. You got to be able to guard a number 1 receiver. I think Patrick Surtain does that. I think he's a great build, great on tape, a lot of potential at Alabama. He's a little better in zone coverage. That's what he likes better. So that could be not worrisome, but it could also, you got to make sure you plan around that a little. But I think Dallas he's too good to pass up. I got Patrick Surtain going number 10, and Dallas gets the first defensive player on both of our boards. Comes off. Out of the top 10 guys, the New York Giants, number 11, JR. What do you got them doing in the draft?
So with the Giants, I was kind of like looking at their team, and there's a hole, I feel like, the linebacker position, and who better to fill that than Micah Parsons, Penn State. 2 back-to-back defensive players. Micah Parsons also probably top 2, top 3 defensive player in this draft. I think this is a really good fit for the Giants. They really need that linebacker that's really control the field. That's something they're lacking. They could go offense here, but I think I feel like Michael Parsons they're going to get Barkley back, and Michael Parsons probably one of the best fits for the Giants this draft.
Once again, we are literally 9 picks so far, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
8.
We do not see each other's draft before. I promise you guys. I got Giants going 11, Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State. Sat out last year. I think he could be the best defensive player in this class. I do think he has a ton of potential. I also feel like they could go offense in the form of Jalen Waddle as a receiver. But I think they go Micah Parsons. I think they get another defender. I think their offense is good, so they won't need another receiver. But Micah Parsons, the best linebacker, defensive lineman in this class. I think he's a freak of nature. Go watch him on tape, guys. If you want to see an absolute freak of nature, an athletic monster, go watch Micah Parsons. Go Google him on YouTube. I think Micah Parsons was 11. I think the Giants too much to pass up on. JR, 12 in division NFC East, Philadelphia Eagles. What do you got them doing?
So I basically with the Mac Jones being off the board, I think Eagles are going to be sticking with Jalen Hurts this year, see what he could do. And so because of that, I have them picking Jalen Waddle, wide receiver from Alabama. He's probably the third best wide receiver in this draft. And Eagles really struggling with the wide receivers. They need to give Jalen Hurts a weapon. So I have them picking Jalen Waddle, 12th.
I agree with you.
Oh God.
Them a weapon. Sorry, guys. This is not on purpose. I don't know what else to say. Like, I totally agree with you. They need to give Jalen Hurts a weapon. They're not going to take a quarterback, and that quarterback would be Mac Jones. If that from on my board at this point, they're not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense to me. They're going to go with Jalen Waddle, the third best wide receiver and the best wide receiver left on the board. If Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase fell to them, they would snatch him up so fast. But I think Jalen Waddle, who missed a lot of last year with an injury, explosive, fast guy. Is he Henry Ruggs? That's the only thing that would kind of scare me because we know Henry Ruggs after his rookie year didn't really pan out. Obviously, there's still a ton of time, but I think he's too talented to pass up. He's going to be – he's like people remind him of Tyreek Hill. That's what the comparison is. Jalen Waddle, number 12, to the Philadelphia Eagles. JR, 13. Chargers got their quarterback in Justin Herbert. What do they do here at 13?
You had them going higher in the draft. I just didn't see a need for offensive linemen to the teams before. But I have them picking Rashawn Slater. I agree. He's definitely top two offensive lineman in this draft. And Chargers really, they have all the weapons on their team. They got the receivers. They got a pretty okay defense, solid defense. I just have them shoring up that offensive line with usually teams with a franchise quarterback like Herbert. They're just going to try to protect him, make sure everything's good his first development stages, first couple of years in his career. So I have them going all line with Rashawn Slater.
I agree with you. I think they go offensive lineman. Obviously, I have Rashawn Slater going number 8, so he's not on the board. I got Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle, Virginia Tech. Hokies, I love my Virginia Tech football. You guys know. Hopefully, we have 2 guys going in the first round in Darrisaw and Farley. He's the third best tackle on the board, in my opinion. And I do agree with you on the point that the Chargers need to protect Justin Herbert, a young quarterback. Don't want him getting injured. They're going to go 13, Virginia Tech offensive tackle, Christian Darrisaw. JR, number 14, the Minnesota Vikings. What do they do?
I don't have them going offense. I have them picking Jace Horn, cornerback from South Carolina. He's definitely top cornerback in this draft. Pro Football had him player ranked 10. He's a good man-to-man corner, really good at that. I like him, and I just think Vikings need to get the defense back on track with a little bit and picking this cornerback, Jace Horn. I think that's what they're going to do.
I like the pick. I understand the pick. I think Jace Horn's been a huge riser of late. I am not going on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to go Elijah Vera Tucker for the Minnesota Vikings, offensive guard / offensive tackle. He can play inside. He can play outside. Whatever the team needs. I think they're going to play him either right tackle or right guard. And I do think they want to protect Kirk Cousins a little more. They have the weapons in Adam Thielen and in Justin Jefferson. They have the running back in Dalvin Cook. They have the tight end in Irv Smith Jr. They could go defense, and I agree with you in the Jace Horn pick. And I know they could go defensive end, even though this defensive end class is not top heavy. It's more kind of middle of the pack defensive end class. But I'm going to go guard / tackle, whatever they think best fits them. Elijah Vera Tucker, offensive guard, offensive tackle at the University of Southern California. JR, number 15. Not the Patriots for you, but the Carolina Panthers. Who do you got the Panthers taking at 15 after they trade back?
I had them picking Christian Darrisaw, Virginia Tech. You had him going a couple of picks ago. 6'5", 314. I think Panthers definitely protect Sam Darnold. You don't want to really – you traded for him. You want him to develop, and you can't have him be getting hit like that. So I think they're going to shore up the offensive line with this pick and pick Christian Darrisaw.
I like the pick. I had the Panthers taken at 8. Rashawn
Slater.
So we agree on the position of need of a tackle.
I agree.
So we agree with that. 15 for me, Patriots. Yeah, I agree with you with the Mac Jones pick. But I do think they stay at 15. And I do think how my board fell, how the quarterback action team needs, I have Mac Jones going 15. I think he's the perfect quarterback fit for the Patriots, what they want to run, kind of a pro-style offense. I feel like Trey Lance doesn't really fit with them, even though they could take Trey Lance, but obviously I had him going 9. And I love Mac Jones at 15. I do think if 29ers take him at 3, he's going to be a bust because I don't think he's going to be that good to take him at 3 over other quarterbacks. But at this point of the draft, best quarterback left on the board. Patriots need a quarterback. And I think if Micah Parsons was there, JR, I think they would go fifth at him because Bill Belichick loves his linebackers. But because he's not there, he went 11 to the Giants. I got them taking Mac Jones, quarterback of the future, out of Alabama. As we keep moving up the draft board, 16, Jared, Cardinals. What do they do in this draft?
I have 2 Virginia Tech players going back to back here. I got Caleb Farley, cornerback from Virginia Tech. Cardinals got AJ Green this offseason, so I don't really see them doing anything on the offense unless it's a offensive lineman to protect Kyler. But I think they lost Patrick Peterson, and I think they're going to get a cornerback, really step up that defense. And I think Caleb Farley. So I got 3 cornerbacks going top 16. I think Caleb Farley fits that system, so I'm going Caleb Farley here.
I like Caleb Farley. I do think he's had that injury problem as of late, so he's kind of slipped a little down the board, but I do think a team that takes him is going to be happy. I do have the Cardinals taking a corner. And you would think I would go with my guy, Caleb Farley, for being a Virginia Tech fan, but I'm not. I'm going Jace Horn. I do think Jace Horn still left on the board for me, as he was not left on the board for you.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on the point. We agree on a lot of points of what team needs.
Yeah.
Like sometimes our players don't kind of match up. But I got Jace Horn 16 to the Cardinals. They lost Pat Pete. They don't really have anybody in the secondary as a corner. They got to guard people. And I think Jace Horn, the second best corner in this class, is still left on the board at 16. And I think if he's still on the board at 16, they're going to go running to take him. And they're going to take a corner at 16. Just depends who it is. You think Caleb Farley. I think take Jace Horn. So I'm going to take Jace Horn at 16. As we keep moving up this draft board, guys, 17, Las Vegas Raiders. Who do you got them taking?
I mean, I would say maybe draft someone on the offense, but they did take Henry Ruggs last year. So, I mean, you better still have faith in him that he's going to become that wide receiver 1 that they were hoping for. So I have them picking on the defensive side, and I know they have Cleveland Farrell, and their defense is pretty solid. It's a good, solid core of defense. They play well together, but I have them taking this edge rusher, Kwity Paye out of Michigan, player ranked 12th on Fantasy Pro, Football Pro. So I have them taking a pass rusher. They need someone that's just going to get to the quarterback. Cleveland Farrell's shown flashes, but I think they're going to definitely pair them up together. So I got Kwity Paye.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You keep referencing that website, but you can't get their dang name right.
Yeah, I know. Pro Football Network.
Okay, how we know Pro Football Network. I like to pick. I'm not going to go edge rusher. I'm going to go on the offensive side of the ball if the Raiders are 17, but I'm not going to go a weapon. I'm going to go Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle, Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Might be a little high
I
for
can see that.
But I do think because they got rid of like their whole old line, they did some weird things this offseason with O-line. They're going to bring in another tackle to protect Derek Carr. And I think Tevin Jenkins, at this point in the draft, is the best tackle at this point. So I got the Raiders taking Tevin Jenkins at 17. Guys, so far we're done 17 picks. If you agree or disagree, there are picks, drop a comment down below. We like to hear your opinion as we keep moving up the draft board. Sorry it's a little long video, guys. Just how these type of videos go. Hopefully you watch the whole video and stay tuned with us. It's gonna keep getting more fun. 18, Miami Dolphins. Who do you got?
I got the Dolphins taking a linebacker here. I had them picking a wide receiver offense first, their first pick, and I have them picking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from Notre Dame. I think this pick is really good value for 18th. They have a really good defense. They got good corners with Xavier Howard, but I have them picking a linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, just to solidify that defense a little more and keep adding to it. So I got that.
I like to pick. I'm going to go defensive side of the ball, too. This guy already went off your board. I'm going to go Kwity Paye. Well, that's the name. DN, Michigan. I do think they need another pass rusher. You got to get after Josh Allen in the division. You have to get after Zach Wilson, most likely. So I think they're going to need defense. They went offense with their first pick with Jamar Chase. let's flip on the other side. I do agree they're going to go defense, and I do like the Jeremiah Olese Koromaya pick. Wow, that's a name.
That's a
Um,
name.
but I do think they don't take him there. I think they go Kitty Payout, get a pass rusher at 18 from Michigan. Jared, 19, the Washington football team. Who do you got them taking at 19?
This might be a little reach, but I think Washington football team is going to try to. Their defense is kind of already solidified. They got a good defense. I think they're going to get another receiver to help out. I forgot his name. What's his name again? Wide receiver.
The quarterback?
No, wide receiver on football team.
Oh,
Washington.
Terry.
Yeah. Okay. I think they're going to pair up Terrace Marshall Jr. from LSU. Yeah, I have him. It's a little bit of a reach, but I think he's a speedster. He pairs well. What's his name again? Oh,
Horn?
yeah, Terry McLaurin. Yeah. So I think they pair well together because he's more of a speedster. Terry McLaurin's more of like a route runner. He's get his catches. But yeah, this might be a reach, but I think they're gonna go with Terrace Marshall Jr.
I like that pick. I really do. I'm not going offense side of the ball. I'm going to stay on the defense. I do think they can go receiver, but they're going to take Jeremiah Usea Koromia, linebacker, Notre Dame. He can play linebacker. He can cover. He also can get after the quarterback. I do think he's one of the guys that could go earlier or later. I feel like it depends what team need. I think Washington 19 is like, this guy's too talented to take. You had him going 18, so you agree with me. He's too talented to keep falling, and I like him going to 19. Keep bolstering that defense. They could go receiver. They could go Kyle Trask, quarterback. I don't think they're gonna. I think if a quarterback fell, they would, but obviously we did not have any quarterbacks falling. I'm going Jeremiah Osei Koromai, Notre Dame 19 to Washington football team. At 20, Jared, Chicago Bears. What do you got them doing?
They could very well and probably might go quarterback here. But I have them selecting another wide receiver, Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. I think he's going to be highly regarded wide receiver. He'd probably go first round, in my opinion. And I think Bears definitely need to work on that offense. I know Andy Dalton's definitely not the solution, but I just don't. I feel like this is too much of a reach for another one of those quarterbacks. They could get someone maybe in the second round. So I have them picking a receiver, Rashad Bateman from Minnesota.
I like it. I think I agree with you. Too high of a reach for a quarterback that in Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond. I think they go defensive side of the ball. They cut Kyle Fuller. They need corners, not Caleb Farley. You would think I would have said Caleb Farley. Greg Newsome, the guy right in their back door. Back door. Front lawn, back lawn. That did not
Backyard.
Yes, thank you. Backyard. Greg Newsome, corner, Northwestern. Two Northwestern players go in the top 20, in my opinion. Who would have ever said that?
Yeah, I know.
I think they need another corner. I love Greg Newsome. I think he's jumped over Caleb Farley on my board. I'm taking Greg Newsome at 20. JR, Indianapolis Colts, Carson Wentz, new quarterback. What at 21 do you think they're going to do? Offense, defense, what do you got?
I think they're going to go offensive line here. They just traded for Carson Wentz. Definitely, Carson Wentz has been proven that he can take hits, but he just doesn't do well under pressure as well as other quarterbacks. So I think they're going to protect him. And he's been injury prone, so protect him, make sure he stays on the field. And they're going to pick Elijah Vera Tucker, who you already had going off the board. I think they're going to solidify that offensive line a little more. They have a pretty solid offensive line, but I think they're just going to draft another here, make sure Carson Wentz stays good in the pocket. And so that's my pick.
I like it, my man. I like it. I think they go offense, but I think they go weapon, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, sort of a big play kind of guy, kind of a big receiver, can also run, get him another weapon. They really don't have a ton of weapons outside of T.Y. Hilton. I believe so. I don't think they have a ton of weapons.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they do need another weapon. I like Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota. I think let's get Carson Wentz a weapon. I got Rashad Bateman going 21. Jared, Tennessee Titans, 22. What do you got them going?
I got them going Jason Owaye, edge rusher from Penn State. Their defense was not that good last year, and they really needed that guy. He's going to get to the quarterback. So I got him going edge rusher here. I don't think they're going to go offensive side. They might draft another wide receiver, actually, maybe because they lost Corey Davis, who went to the Jets. But I have them going defense here. Just get some new guys on the defense because that was their weakness last year, so I got Jason OY.
I agree with you. I think they could go wide receiver, but I'm going to stick to the defensive side of the ball. Caleb Farley falls to 22. They'll solidify the secondary. I think that would be a tremendous pick for the Titans. Obviously, you already had him going 16 to the Cardinals. Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech corner, 2 first-round picks for Virginia Tech. Awesome. Last time that happened was Tremaine and Terrell Edmonds a couple years back for Pittsburgh and Buffalo. So I'm happy with Caleb Farley 22. I would love him to get to 30 with the Bills. He's not gonna. I'm going Tennessee Titans take Caleb Farley, cornerback, Virginia Tech. JR, 23, the Jets. They got their quarterback in the future in Zach Wilson. What do they do here at 23 with their second first-round pick?
So I think there's definitely weaknesses for the Jets: defensive backs, pass rusher, and then offensive line. They kind of got a lot of defensive linemen, pass rushers this offseason in free agency. So I don't think they're going to go edge rusher or pass rusher this pick. They could go offensive line, protect Zach Wilson. However, I think our main problem was our defensive backs or corners last year. So I got the Jets drafting Greg Newsome, the second out of Northwestern. I really like this cornerback. He's one of my favorite corners in this draft. In college, he did a really good college career. Really good man-to-man corner and cover 3 zone corner. He can kind of do it all a little bit. I like him a lot, and I'd be very excited the Jets pick Greg Newsome if he falls to us.
JR, I like the pick. We talked about this earlier. The position group I wanted the Jets to take at 23 in my mock draft and what I think they would be corner. The problem is I had the top 4 corners already go in my mock draft, and Caleb Farley, Greg Newsome, Jason Horn, and Patrick Surtain. If one of those 4 get to 23, surefire pick for the Jets. But I do think they go edge rusher. I think they go Jalen Phillips, defensive end, Miami. I think he has a ton of potential, and I think he could not sit a little. And I feel like he has kind of a boom or bust kind of mentality. I think he's going to boom. He sat out last year. He's number 1 recruit ever in his class. Went to UCLA, transferred to Miami. I think this guy has loaded with potential since high school. I love him at 23. I wanted to go corner with the Jets, and then they're gonna go corner, but it's just how my draft fell that kind of annoyed me a little. I like Jalen Phillips, the end, Miami at 23. Jared, as we're moving on,
I would like that pick. Yeah.
As we're moving on, back end of the draft, 24th to 32. As this man, it's been a long episode. Steelers, what do you got, Jared?
Oh, funny. I have the Steelers picking Jalen Phillips, edge rusher from Miami, right after you had him going. Steelers just lost Bud Dupree. I think they're still gonna. People might say they might pick a quarterback, but again, I think they could wait on that. Maybe Kyle Trask, but I think they're gonna pick someone to come into the spot of what the Bud Dupree did last year. Pair up with T.J. Watt, and their defense is basically solidified. It's a good defense, so maybe just adding another edge rusher there to take the place of the Bud Dupree. So I have him going Jalen Phillips, and like you said, he's loaded with potential, so he can learn a lot from T.J. Watt and such.
I like that. I like the concept. I think they could go tackle here, but I think the tackles at this point aren't good enough for them to take at 24. I like Zaven Collins, linebacker / defensive end out of Tulsa. I think this guy could play either linebacker or edge. And I think he could be that Bud Dupree type of player. And I think he fits right into the Bud Dupree, what kind of Bud Dupree was out of Kentucky. Zaven Collins loaded with potential. I think this would be a great pick for Pittsburgh. Just a cheap replacement for the Bud Dupree. And I think this would be a perfect fit. And I agree with you on the Jalen Phillips pick. I think they go with type of player like that. I got Zaven Collins at 24. Jared, 25, Jaguars. They got their quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. What are they doing with their second first-round pick?
I thought it'd be pretty cool if they picked Travis Etienne, pair up with Trevor Lawrence, but they have James Robinson. They really have no need for it. And I think once you pick a franchise quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, if you have a second first-round pick, it's most likely like 7 out of 10 times. I feel like it's going to be a offensive lineman. I have him going Alex Leatherwood, tackle from Alabama, 6'5", 312. And I don't know if he's technically the best tackle out still, but I think he's going to be drafted in the first round. I think he's their pick for the Jaguars. Help protect Trevor Lawrence.
I like that concept. I think they go offense side of the ball, but I'd say they get him a weapon. Not Travis Etienne, weapon on the outside. Kadarius Toney, wide receiver, Florida. I think I've read he could potentially go ahead of Devontae Smith. That's just a rumor I read, and I think people love him. I do think he still goes behind Waddle, Smith, Chase, and Rashard Bateman. But I think Tony at 25 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Get Trevor Lawrence another weapon. I think Kadarius Toney would be great from Florida. So I think that would be awesome. Get him a weapon. Jared, 26, Cleveland Browns. What do you got them taking?
So here's another reach for me. I actually have them going. You might be shocked, but Asante Samuel Jr., cornerback from Florida State. Um, he's not really ranked as high in the cornerbacks or in player rankings. People don't think he might not go first round, maybe late, mid, second round, or early second round. But I know I like him. I think he's really good man to man, and he also has that. His dad was Asante Samuel. I feel like that factors in a little bit. And Browns, I think they need cornerbacks help, have a good offense. They just got Jadeveon Clowney. They're probably not going to pick a pass rusher. They have Myles Garrett, obviously. So I think they're going to pick Asante Samuel Jr.
When I tell you I love Asante Samuel Jr. so much, he's like my crush of the draft. I absolutely love this kid. And I think this kid's going to be tremendous because he's not talked about as a top 4 corner with Caleb Farley, Newsome, uh,
Yeah,
Horn,
I
and
agree.
Kane. I think he's a 5th best corner, but I think he has the potential to be the first or second. I think this kid is going to be incredible. He's a big guy, man to man. I love that pick. I don't have him going 26. I have Christian Barmore, D tackle, Alabama. Yeah,
Okay.
they just cut Sheldon Richardson. They need a D tackle.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Paid
true.
money. They paid Jadeveon Clowney. We saved money in Sheldon Richardson. Why don't get a cheap replacement for him? Christian Barmore, D tackle, Alabama. You know those big boys at Alabama love stopping the run. Big guys in the middle. I think they go Christian Barmore, D tackle, and replace Sheldon Richardson. So I think that'd be a great pick for the Browns. I agree with you. They're going to go defensive side of the ball. Jared, 27, Baltimore Ravens. What do you got?
So, Baltimore, they could go different routes here. Uh, because their safeties aren't the strongest. I am going Trayvon Morig from TCU. He's a very highly regarded player in many analysts. So I think at 27, it's great value for a safety. And I think they could. Ravens defense always getting added, but good players always added on there. They always build it through the draft, I feel like. So pick with Trayvon Morig. I think it's likely that the Ravens might actually pick him to help that safety and secondary.
Yeah, this safety class is weird. It's super weird. It's not really that
It
deep
is
at
weird.
all. I think he's the best
Yeah.
safety. I don't have him going at all in the first round, but I could totally see him somebody moving up a little if they need a safety. I got to go in defense. You already had him going. I got Jason Owa at the end, Penn State. I think they could just always use more pass rushers. I think that would fit perfect for Baltimore. And I think they just need another defensive player. They could go weapon. I know Ravens fans want them to go weapon, but I don't think at this point the weapons are good enough in the first round. I think if Kadarius Toney or Bateman falls to them, they're going to take them real fast.
Yeah, I agree.
Got Jason Owa, the end, Penn State. Jared, 28, New Orleans Saints. No more Drew Brees. What do you got them going?
I surprisingly, honestly, don't have them going offense. They lost Sheldon Rankins. I know he's not really great, but went to the Jets. I have him going pass rusher, edge rusher Xavier and Collins from Tulsa. You had him going a little bit ago. I think they need that guy. That's just they have Cameron Jordan, obviously, but they could really get that D line really at the opposing quarterbacks. They Marshawn Lattimore. They got pretty good secondary, so if they could just rush the quarterback a little more, they could defense could be really good. I think this is a chance for them to make that pick and pick Xavier and Collins. I could definitely see him going offense, but I have them picking an edge rusher here.
I like him. I like Xavier Collins. Kind of a hybrid edge rusher, sign a
Yeah.
linebacker player. I think they go edge rusher, but I think they go Gregory Rousseau, D end Miami. I think he's been top 10 pick potential, but I do think there's a kind of a boomer bust player. But at 28, there's too much potential, like in Jalen Phillips. I love that pick. I think they go Gregory Rousseau, get an edge rusher from Miami. 2 edge rushers from Miami go in the first round, in my opinion. Gregory Rousseau to the Saints and Jalen Phillips to the Jets. I think Gregory Rousseau, I think I'm saying his name right, will be really good for the Saints. I love him at 28. So I agree with you in the concept of the pick. Final 4 picks, Jared. 29, Green Bay Packers. What do we got?
I got the Packers going defense. Christian Barmore from Alabama. I know they got like Kenny Clark on defensive line, but I think they're gonna pick a defensive lineman here just because the offense, do you have Aaron Rodgers? I don't think the offense is usually a big problem for them because Aaron Rodgers. They got Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. So, and their cornerbacks are actually pretty solid. They got a really good cornerback. So I think they're going D line here. Maybe linebacker possibly, but I think Christian Barrymore is just really good value at 29. So you really can't pass up on him.
If he was there at 29 for me, I would have taken him, but I'm going offensive side of the ball. They could go weapon if Tony or Bateman falls. He does not. So guess who I got going? I got Samuel Cosme, tackle, Texas. I think he's the next best tackle on the board. I think he might be a little bit of retake, you said, in the Alex Weatherford pick, but I do think Samuel Cosme, next best tackle on the board from Texas, will be a great pick for the Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Keep building around that O-line, keep protecting Rodgers and then potentially, eventually, Jordan Love. I like Samuel Cosme going to 29 to the Texas, from Texas to the Packers. Jared, what do you got my Buffalo Bills doing at 30?
So I know I always hear you talking about who the Bills need in the draft, and I heard you mention like pass rushers, and so I'm thinking, yeah, Bills don't really have that pass rusher that's just going to get sacked every year, and I think this year they're going to get an edge rusher. I got him going Azeez Ojulari from Georgia. Many people don't really know about him, but he's versatile. I think he's really athletic. Plays like a 3-4. I think he could be that like really physical guy on the edge, really fast. And I think he could be like their just ultimate pass rusher on this Bills defense. So I got them going with him.
I like it. I don't have them going edge rusher. I think they could go edge rusher. And I think at that point on your board, either for you, Rousseau or Azeez Ojulari,
It was between Rousseau and Ojulari.
Well, some names we got there. JR, I talked about him a couple minutes ago, how much I love this guy. Asante Samuel Jr. Maybe if you guys, a little foreshadowing, maybe a little. I love this guy, and I think the Bills, if he's at 30, oh my God, I would love this pick for them. And I think Jared, we gotta play better defense in the secondary outside of Tre'Davious White. Need another corner on the outside. Why not pair Samuel and Asante Samuel Jr. along with Tre'Davious White? I think that would be incredible. And that's my best pick. I think they either go corner or D end. At this point, I got them going Asante Samuel Jr. Jared, final two picks, Chiefs, Buccaneers. Tell me what you got for both of them. Go 31-32. The two teams in the Super Bowl. We'll pair them together.
So for the Chiefs, I got them. They lost a lot of tackles. They lost a lot of linemen this year. And as you saw in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was having trouble with all this pressure coming at him. So I have him picking Tevin Jenkins, offensive lineman from Oklahoma, 6'6", 320. I think they're definitely going to go offensive lineman here. I don't see what else, unless there's someone that's really on their mind that just falls to them. But I have them shoring up the offensive line, protecting their franchise quarterback, protecting that offense that's one of the best offenses I've ever seen. So I think they're going offensive line here.
And what do you got 32 for the Buccaneers?
Buccaneers, I have the same situation. I'm going offensive line, protect Brady. I got him going Jalen Mayfield, offensive line from Michigan. So, yeah, same situation. Protect Brady, protect that offense, maybe get that running game going more. So, yeah.
As you go two offensive players, I'm going to go two defensive players. I thought about tackles for both of them, but I decided to stay away from that. Chiefs 31, Jamin Davis, linebacker, Kentucky. He's been a fast riser as of the last couple of weeks. I think the Chiefs would, if he's at 31, would love him, and I think that'd be huge potential. I think they need another defensive player, and they go linebacker, Jamin Davis. 32, staying with the defense, this guy you had going to the Bills, but I got the Buccaneers taking Azeez Ojulari, D-end, Georgia. I think they could get another. You always need pass rushers. You always need pass rushers.
Always need.
I think 32, Azeez Ojulari, D-end, Georgia. So I think that's my final mock draft, guys. If you have any, if you agree or disagree with anything, drop a comment below. Jared, I know this is a long video. I'm sorry this is taking not forever, but you got to do what you got to do. Jared, quickly, bold prediction, guys. This bold prediction doesn't mean we had it in our draft. My bold prediction had nothing to do with my mock draft. It wasn't in my mock draft. But one bold prediction that nobody's really talking about that you think could happen.
My bold prediction, this is more just me thinking about this would be cool if this happened. Could fit really well. The Ravens selecting Najee Harris at running back. pairing that up with Lamar Jackson, I don't know. I know it's very heavy on the run there. They really don't need it. They got J.K. Dobbins, but I don't know. It would be pretty cool to see Lamar and Najee Harris play together. I think that could be pretty elite. But yeah, that's my bold prediction. Probably won't happen, but it's bold.
My bold prediction, guys, no defensive players go in the top 10. That is my bold prediction.
Okay.
I had, who did I have going? I had Patrick Surtain going at number 10. And I think that's the only really person that could. And you know, the Cowboys get to do stupid things and draft a wide receiver. Like, I feel like they would do that. So I think potentially Cowboys do not take a defensive player. No defensive players go in the top 10. Jared's bold prediction. Ravens take Najee Harris. Peter's bold prediction, as I said, refer to myself in the first person. We are the Cowboys. Cowboys. No defensive players go in the top 10. Guys, we appreciate you guys listening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need people to subscribe. Like 84% of you guys that watch the videos aren't subscribed. Like, what the heck is this? Subscribe to the channel, and then you just helps us. We're almost at 800. You know we're trying to get to that 1K. You know that. So help a guy out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Guys, drop a comment, drop a like. Instagram and Twitter will be in the link below. Enjoy the draft. Watch every single round. If you need more knowledge, come to our Twitter, Instagram poll pages. Also, this video. If you want more knowledge, watch this video. It will really help you, guys. We'll see you in the next one. This was the Talking Sports Podcast with Peter DiBiasi and John Rocco Trumpbour. Thank you.